Alright, hey everyone, this is Jacob, and first off, I'd just like to apologise for getting this episode out so late. We filmed it really early this year, like February or something, and it was before this coronavirus stuff started happening, so, just keep that in mind. It's before all that, and it's my fault really, 'cause we filmed it then, and I have just been packed and also kind of lazy with school stuff, and I just didn't get around to editing it until now. Well, I was editing, I just didn't finish it until now. So I take full responsibility for that. I apologize. I don't think it should affect the enjoyment of this episode that much. We talk about the Lighthouse for the majority of it, just our opinions on that, which, isn't that affected by what time you listen to this, I think. At the start of the episode, we kind of talk about some new stuff, and the first 3 episodes of the Clone Wars, which has finished. Now it only just finished when I finished editing this. It's just our opinion on stuff on the news on Clone Wars, so I don't think your hearing is going to be affected that much based on when you hear this. Just kind of keep in mind that we filmed it before episode 4 of Clone Wars came out, before all the other movies got cancelled. We talk about Bond being cancelled, and then about a week later every other movie got cancelled or postponed until later this year. I actually mentioned at the end of this episode that I'm thinking of seeing The Quiet Place 2, and I was thinking of seeing it. I was really looking forward to it, and then like a few days before we were going to see it, it got postponed. So that was really disappointing, but that was ages ago as well. So just keep that in mind. Sorry I didn't get this out earlier, and I'll try and get back on top of school and this, and talk to Ben. Our next episode will probably be on all of the Clone Wars, because that's finished now, and then we will see if we can get regular episodes out to you, whether they be monthly or what have you. Just depends on how packed school is for both of us, and how good I am at editing at a quick pace. I'll try and get on top of that. Sorry guys, enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to our Work in Progress podcast.
Yeah.
I am Jacob, and I'm joined with my co-host
Ben.
Yes.
just Ben, yeah.
And this is our 3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
After it's our first episode ages ago, a Star Wars episode. Then the next one was most anticipated of this year and best of last year.
Yeah.
And today we'll be focusing on a movie that was on both of our most anticipated lists. It was
Even though it came out last year.
Yeah,
But it's still
in America.
in America.
Who cares about America?
Yeah, screw that.
It was your most anticipated, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So we'll get into that a bit later. But first I thought we'd start off with some pop culture news.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the new Batmobile design?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
I'm
going to get it up on my phone right now so I can have a reference.
It's quite... a lot of people have been saying it's like if... who's that? Vin Diesel
Right.
from Fast and Furious had a little little play with the tumbler, but...
Yeah.
I feel like it actually homages a little bit of the 60s Batman, in a way.
Yeah.
In a way, I reckon it homages that, and I don't think that should be something people should be frightened of.
No, I think it looks pretty good. It seems like it's a bit open in the back. I don't know if that's just a shot.
As they do say, it is a work in progress
Yeah,
Batmobile.
that's true.
It's very American because it's a Mustang kind
Yeah.
of. So it's very like, I'm not really 200% sure what to think right now. I mean, it feels Batman-like, but I feel like it's something Batman would have, but wouldn't really... Like, we wouldn't really... Like, it'd be in the background of his Batcave.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something we'd really...
Drive around.
drive around much. See, I still can't get over the... I think one of the best Batmobiles was the... either Tim Burton ones or the one from Batman vs Superman. Like, that Batmobiles were really like, that's a Batmobile. This kind of feels like a car.
Yeah, it looks a lot more just like a regular car. Like
that's the same with the that's the same with the what's it called? Batbike as well that we've seen.
We've seen a Batbike?
Yeah, when they revealed, and that's when people saw his outfit and everyone was a bit like, ooh.
Right. Oh yes. Yeah. I remember. Yep.
I mean, it fits. It fits with what they're going. It feels.
Looks like they're taking a more grounded approach.
They have.
I guess.
They have taken a much more grounded approach, but we're just gonna wait and see. Honestly, things early days, but I like this picture that someone photoshopped.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
What's that, speed racing?
Yeah, speed race. So someone just decided to flick that on, which was pretty funny. But
Nice.
look, I don't know what because this Batman seems to be like similar to the Dark Knight trilogy, where it's very like realistic. So, and I don't even know. We don't know what Gotham looks like yet. We don't really know what.
Well, we don't really know what kind of universe this is set in.
Yeah. I think it could be its own. I mean, you never know. It could. Imagine if it's actually a Joker continuation, but I doubt that.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of people have been like theorizing what this is going to be all about. But I think we're going for a very realistic approach for this, which I kind of am getting a bit sick of.
Yeah, me too.
Personally,
Yeah.
I think why not get a bit of
I feel like
play around a bit,
in the past few years we've come so far with actually making our comic book movies more comical, more comic booky, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To kind of revert back to this realistic formula. I mean, I guess because it worked with Dark Knight, they think it worked now, but...
I mean, we've got Matt Reeves on board on this, so I mean, you never know, because Christopher Nolan knew what he was bloody doing, so we don't... And Matt Reeves, he's done amazing works with, like, especially the Planet of the Apes series and stuff. So we don't know what. I don't really know what to expect.
And like, I don't think this will be bad necessarily. I just think it's kind of a shame we're moving away from the more superhero side of the DC universe.
I mean, isn't this like they said? Like, this is very much more detective.
Yes.
This show a lot more detective.
Yeah,
space,
it did.
So. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like... It's funny, because when I saw those new pictures, I'm like, oh, geez, it's cyberpunk. It looks like cyberpunk, but... we'll wait and see. My thoughts right now on this, because I'm a huge Batman fan right now, I'm just kind of like, just going to sit it out. Because I knew, like, my first initial reaction for, like, Ben Affleck, I was like, holy shit, this looks like someone really went balls on this one. But, I mean, I generally don't mind that, like, the Batmobile kind of looks a bit 60s-ish, like a little 60s like element to it. How it's flat and then it's got the middle section. Because if you look at that, the exhaust on that is pretty exposed. Like, I think they're just trying to experiment with this one. Yeah. And plus, since it's like since if this is going to be like a trilogy or sequels, this is like the beginning. Yeah. So
they're going to update it.
They're probably going to update it. It's going to evolve. And if this becomes like a really running Batman, we could have a lot of like, because if you think about it in the comics, Batman's got a lot of like changes throughout. Yeah, it'd be really interesting if this really like kicks off and creates a huge like series. Like, I don't know how long, I don't know how many movies, but Batman could really like evolve and change so many times. Like, if you really think about like, if you think about the first, like, let's say for example the games, if you think about the first Arkham game and the way he looks, the way everything's set in that, and then you look at Arkham Knight. It's in the same universe, but it's very different. Like, his outfit's very much evolved. Yeah. So it's like all armored before it was all like fabric. Yeah. So you never know where this is going to go and if this kicks off.
They got Robert Pattinson, who's a youngish actor, so he's got plenty of, like, if he wanted to, he could do this for like 10 years.
He could really
be a whole Iron Man thing kind
of. Could do if he really pulls it off. Yeah, he's an amazing actor, and we'll talk about that in the White House. Yeah. Because I used to always think, oh, it's the bloody Twilight guy. But no, I'm really like, wow. Yeah. All right, what's next on the news?
Okay, coronavirus.
No, okay, yeah.
So people aren't going to the cinema because they're afraid of coronavirus.
I mean, if you're in China, then it makes sense.
Well, I mean, it's more or less worldwide now. Like, they've got a couple of deaths in Perth here. So, and
just don't take your grandma to the cinema. That's what you gotta do.
I think it's a big media thing. Like, it's about as dangerous as the flu. And it's not that contagious. No. Like, if you drink water and wash your hands, then you're fine. Like, same with any other kind of cold.
I mean, it's I think, like, because the way I perceived it in China, it was like a zombie film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started. I'm like, oh, fuck, this thing's going to be like the wipeout time. But, I'm not letting it faze me.
Yeah. I think that's the approach everyone should take. It has pushed back the release of the new James Bond movie. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I was aware of that. That actually looked really cool when I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah. No, I was really excited for it, and it was meant to release next month. But now it's pushed back to November.
Yeah, and now we're getting all these crap films that are popping in.
It's kind of a shame, but I mean, as long as it still comes out. And I guess this way they have more time to kind of touch up on it, and if they need to. I don't think they really needed to. They're just pushing it back.
Is this the last one Daniel Craig's doing?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
It's supposed to be, okay.
Yeah. And I think it will be, like,
he can't do many more after
No,
this, can he?
he looks really old now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge James Bond fan, but I really like the idea of that Logan-esque kind of style
Yeah,
to it.
I was quite surprised with the amount of stunts he was able to do in that trailer. Like, I know a lot of them probably stunt doubles and
Yeah,
stuff,
they
but
I very much like the end shot where he does the classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think that trailer really blew me away, honestly, because I'm haven't really watched a whole lot of Bond movies, but seeing that
Yeah.
trailer, it got me really excited for some reason. I just think, like, the style and the action set pieces
Yeah.
look great.
Well, I've only seen half of Skyfall, and I remember going, "Shit, this is good," but I
Yeah.
didn't finish it.
I do want to watch all the Craig Bond films. leading
Yeah,
to this
yeah,
one. I
yeah.
think now that it's going to release in November, I'll have time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So next on our list is, did you hear Christian Bale is playing the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder?
I did not know this.
No.
This is the first time. Oh wait,
Yeah.
hang on. I might have heard. Something. I'm sorry. With the way I'm perceiving Marvel these days, I might have heard something that just went through one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
That's just a way because I think I mentioned in the last podcast. I kind of just like Endgame is it.
Yeah. Yep.
Except if there's a few like prequels or whatever. Or
Yes, like Black Widow. You're
Like,
gonna
I
see.
want to see that because
Yeah.
you know. But I just kind of go, oh, Marvel's gonna just.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney Plus, it makes sense. I'm okay with that, but it's
Yeah.
just like, ooh. But anyway, no, I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I must have saw it come up, and then it went out the ear.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas who it could play? A lot of people have been suggesting Korvac, who's kind of a big Avengers villain.
Yeah.
I thought he could play a younger version of the Serpent, who's like a guiding guy who controls giant snakes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but isn't
Or he turns into a giant snake, something like that.
didn't Thor join Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of Endgame?
Well, that's another thing on my list. Vin Diesel, who's been kind of leaking a lot of stuff from Marvel recently. He might be in a bit of trouble, but he states that the director, so Waititi, talked to him about incorporating some of the Guardians of the Galaxies into the fourth Thor movie.
No,
So we might see like Groot or Rocket or Peter Quill
Well,
in
Thor
Thor.
had a great connection with Rocket.
Yeah.
I think he had a
Yeah.
great connection with Rocket and Groot as well. They
Yeah.
them three as a team were very like I generally liked that part
Yeah.
of Endgame. Like they were a cool group.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw those two in the next Thor
Yeah,
movie as
yeah.
well.
I think they need to get their own solo show. Them too.
Yeah,
Rocket
they were
and
going to,
Groot,
weren't
they
they?
need
And then
to.
it got cancelled or something.
They need to do that.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
That'd be an expensive show though, when you think about
Oh
it.
yeah, because it will be CGI. Yeah.
So maybe they're waiting until like to see how much money the Disney shows
Mm.
reckon. Like if they're not as popular as they wanted them to be,
Yeah.
they're probably not going to make a Rocket and Groot show. But if they blow them away in terms of sales,
That Loki show is gonna. They're gonna.
Oh,
all
yeah.
their money's gonna fly. they're gonna be sitting in like a mansion of money.
Yeah.
Marvel. They're gonna end up bloody. Oh.
which are you going to watch all of the shows coming out?
I mean, I am at the moment watching Clone Wars. And I mean, we did have a Disney Plus subscription for a while, but it was one of my mates. So, I gotta probably re-get it. I don't know. I might do.
Yeah. So you're watching Clone Wars at the moment?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I mean, the last episode was pretty dull, but the first
we
two.
say spoilers because it's a big thing, kind of in the first very episode.
Yeah. Have you if you haven't watched it yet? Have you?
No, I have. I'm up
yeah.
to date.
Oh, you're up to date. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We let it talk spoilers, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. No, I generally thought the latest episode was a bit lacky.
Yeah.
I think Echo's recovery was a bit too
Quick.
Quick,
Yeah, inconvenient.
like,
how he knew all the
yeah.
like air ventilation stuff.
I think it would have been. I think here's the thing. If you watch those reels that they released of the Bad Batch series, I did watch them, but like skimmed through them because I'm like I can't handle all this
Yeah.
really basic CGI
Yeah.
animation. But there's a lot of elements in that which I think were removed, and I think it's due to time constraints and also just story because I think with season 7 they had it like very much like the other episode, like the other series, because this only has how many episodes does this have? 12 this season?
I guess I did hear it wasn't as much. I can look it up.
Because I know the other ones have like 20 or 28. Like they go
Yeah.
high. Those ones, a lot of the earlier ones, because I'm like, is it time constraint? Is it like what Disney's allowed them to do? Because
Yeah.
Disney hates the prequels,
Yeah.
hates the Clone Wars.
They're gonna have 12 episodes. Yeah.
Ah, Jesus. Yeah, I think they had to like reshuffle, like just make, because I think I think what the idea with season 7 is like, oh yeah, it was gonna tie into episode 3, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was gonna tie in so. Because now looking from this, it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have it happen at the same time as episode 3.
Yep.
But I think when the original intention for season 7 was, it wasn't really gonna tie in so directly
Yeah.
into episode 3, so that's why
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff has been reshuffled and a lot of things have changed and a lot of episodes have been shortened or altered, because there's a few elements in there where I was like, oh, this, I don't remember this, or because I used to watch the reels, I'm like, something a bit different here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they was just trying to speed it up for that one, because how many, there's about 4 for the Bad Batch, isn't there?
It seems like it. Yeah.
I think
There's
it's gonna be 4.
3
There's
released
one-
now, and
there's
it kind of
one-
ended on a
it can't-
cliffhanger.
Yeah, so there's one more we have.
Yeah.
That cliffhanger, I reckon Echo, something's gonna happen to Echo.
Yeah, I think he's like some sort of Trojan horse or something, because they
Yeah.
kind of made a dramatic pause when he's like just like old times. I don't know if
Yeah.
if he resents Rex or if they've implanted something in his head to
If he like actually, if it's like a protocol where he actually like switches and
Yeah.
like starts killing everyone.
yeah.
But
But I guess that's kind of too similar to the Order 66 thing.
so I think they're gonna remake it to like more of like a homing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure because like the Techno Union were like really disappointed, but they did leave that on a cliffhanger as well. The way
Yeah.
he like talked.
Yeah.
So who knows? I do like Anakin's look.
Yeah, and I
I
like
like his-
Anakin's character. He's quite sympathetic.
He's a look. Clone Wars Anakin's amazing
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah, I was
Christian.
talking to Josh the other day, and he was
Yeah.
saying about how the Clone Wars makes him hate the prequels much more in a way because of how Anakin's portrayed in those movies.
Yeah.
Like he's so kind of, whiny and inconsiderate in those films, but you watch the show and he's sympathetic towards Rex and
Yeah.
towards Obi-Wan and what have you.
I reckon that could be a really disappointing factor of the prequels, where it's like, why isn't the clone? Why couldn't the Clone Wars? Like, why couldn't the prequels just been the Clone
Being in
Wars?
Clone Wars, yeah.
It just. That's why I always go. Maybe we won't have to watch the prequels anymore if this season goes okay. It's like you wouldn't have to watch the prequels anymore. Just watch the Clone Wars
Yeah.
if you want to know the backstory. Like screw Phantom Menace, screw Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones is the worst of them. Because I think it'd be cool if you watched it without the prequels and just watched the Clone Wars. Because spoilers alert, but I think it's quite obvious that we're going to be seeing this a lot from a circus perspective and not see what
Yeah.
unfolds. And they're not going to redo the Revenge of the Sith. They're going to do it from like different perspective. But I think it's cooler if you watch it like that and then watch the original trilogy, because then it's like so more. If you never watched the prequels, it's more ambiguous. Like,
Yep.
what actually happened? You know,
Yeah.
like. Except for I know fans that will be like, oh yeah, we know what's going on here. But
The problem with that is the first two movies, even though they're incredibly dull, there are some big plot points, and like,
There
you
are.
got the introduction of Darth Maul and
and Qui-Gon Jinn
Count
stuff.
Dooku, I
and-
guess,
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And
But I think because the thing is, originally what it was is that you watch that 2D animation thing, then go into episode 3
Yeah.
after. But since that's not canon anymore, Clone Wars animation show is pretty much it.
yeah,
There's actually, the show's not released in order, so I actually wouldn't mind one day rewatching it
in chronological order.
chronological order of the episodes.
I actually did that when it was just the first 6 seasons. I found that like you start somewhere as season 2, then it jumps around between like the first 3 seasons, and then after that it kind of goes in
Yeah.
normal order. So like from season 4 to season 6, it's just all chronological.
Because I know I think you got to watch like the Christophorus like campaign first, because then it also ties into the film, and then you got to
Right.
watch like the Domino Squad stuff. And
Yes, yeah.
then you got to then it folds all. Yeah, it's all intertwined in some way that you got to watch it.
Yep.
But yeah.
I was talking to a friend last night. He was saying he was kind of disappointed how we're 3 episodes in, so we're a quarter of the way in now, and we still haven't seen Ahsoka. Even though
I
it's
think
kind
Ahsoka's going to be very left on the end. I think she's
Yeah.
she's going to be the last real like story.
I guess it's just a little misleading because the trailer made it seem like this was all about her, like this was her season.
I don't think you really need it too much, personally.
Yeah, I don't
because
think-
Rebels does it all. They
Yeah,
they
that's
bring
true.
Ahsoka in. She gets her time in there.
Yeah,
So I think what they're trying to do is go, okay, just leave her towards the end of it. And
Yeah.
who knows? It might actually not be chronological this season either. I
Yeah.
mean,
And I like how we're getting a lot of clone stuff because it is Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
good to end with some Rex story, Echo.
This is definitely this season is definitely about Rex and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's definitely Rex and Ahsoka's story. But I really wonder what those filler episodes going to be like. Is it going to be like The Mandalorian? Oh no, it's because we've seen stuff with Mace Windu and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So I feel like we might get a bit of other characters as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like the last time we really see Anakin's going to be this Bad Batch storyline.
Oh, he might come in a bit of the Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah, Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah.
But I reckon we're not going to see much more of him. So.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see
Obi-Wan either.
Obi-Wan at all. Yeah,
I reckon we're gonna be done with him soon.
We'll see that scene with him and Mace Windu. Do you remember in the trailer with all those droids? Yeah. Apart from that, I don't think we'll see him at all. Really,
I would love to see some Coruscant stuff, like the Battle of Coruscant, but like from the perspective of like the ground. Because I remember, I think the best part of that 2D animation show was definitely the like Coruscant battle.
Yeah, when Grievous is chasing down like
and Shakti and all that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the space battles. It's just like you need to do this like with this Clone Wars animation. Just please do it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Because now that 2D animation isn't canon, you can add Ahsoka into that kind of fight. So you can have Grievous with Shakti and Ahsoka. Because Ahsoka and Grievous have kind of a history as well.
Yeah, but I think she's going on to the Mandalorian campaign. I think that's where she goes.
Oh, that's where she'll be.
That's where she'll be.
Okay.
She'll be a Mandalore. Which I think's awesome. Because I think it'd be cool if that ties in somehow with the Mandalorian show as well.
That would be cool.
That'd be great. I think it's cool that everything's getting more connected now. But yeah, I think it's gonna get a bit just annoying now.
Yeah, we'll see.
And you got the New Republic stuff as well. Sorry, not the New Republic.
High Republic?
High Republic, that's it.
Is that a novel that's coming out?
It's books that are set 200 years before Phantom Menace, but I think they're actually trying to like start off with books, but maybe even like eventually get into some different media with it.
Yeah, right.
I think they're trying to because Republic's not canon anymore.
Yeah.
Except for Revan and a few names like Darth Bane and stuff are canon.
Yep.
But I think what they're trying to do with this is actually go, okay, we're gonna replace the Old Republic now and bring in this, and they might find some way with some type of media.
I think books are a pretty safe medium to do it with as well, because if they're bad, it's fine because no one really notices the books unless they're really good, and then people want them to bring them into shows and movies and whatnot. Because
I know that the Ahsoka stuff in Clone Wars at the beginning was actually was originally books.
Yes,
books. So they're now replacing that with I wonder if the book would spoil it. I think the book does spoil it. I think we're pretty much getting the book but shown on screen.
Okay, yeah.
But
I know, and it's kind of a common trend because a lot of the Kylo Ren stuff from the sequel trilogy
is now becoming
that originated from books and whatnot. Yeah, now it's becoming books and Well, I guess we'll do a full review when the whole season comes out.
Done, when it's finished.
I'd like to maybe bring Josh onto the podcast because he's been watching a lot as well.
I reckon he'd be good to talk to because he's just started watching, never finished it. So I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Another thing from Vin Diesel about the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he said we could be getting Alpha Groot. Do you know what Alpha Groot is?
Alpha Groot sounds familiar.
I believe.
Is it like the big ultimate Groot?
Yes. Yeah, I believe it is that. I'll just look up a picture.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't really give us much information, but that would be cool to see, especially after seeing kind of like a baby.
Well, we've seen now. Let's get all three phases out of the way.
Exactly.
Of his life stage.
All right. Google Images isn't really giving me anything. Got this really thick picture.
Where?
Just there.
No. Yeah. Well, I guess that's an idea.
It's like a Skylander. Yeah, but I had more in mind like the really tall Groot with like kind of horns and stuff.
Oh yeah, the big monster one that we've seen. What's it? Oh, is it Fantasy Adventures? What's it called? On the comic series that they had when fantasy thing when they introduced Spider-Man into it. Oh, what was it?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it was the comic book series where they introduced all those characters. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably just get something like that, but a lot bigger and taller.
Nah, because like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna get. Yeah. I really hope so. That'd be awesome. If you guys cannot, if you guys don't know what we're talking
just assuming
about,
you're seeing the same photos as us at the exact same time.
No, but it's like a giant Groot with like literally like another extra tree on his head.
Yeah. Branches of his head.
Yeah, it's like like that. We're getting like that.
Yes.
Dude, that show. Oh my god, Avengers: Vs. Mightiest Heroes. You have to watch that. That is just. Oh, I know it's for kids, but still,
It's
just,
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I saw it pop up, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh damn. Yeah, if you got Disney Plus, please watch it.
Yeah, it's great.
amazing.
Honestly, that was my first introduction to like Hawkeye and Black Panther and Vision and whatnot.
Yeah, I was introduced to those characters through Iron Man Armored Adventures when I used to watch that
Mm.
because they actually came in. I remember Hawkeye had a segment on
Really?
there and Black Panther,
Yeah.
and they had Hulk and stuff. But that was towards the end. It was actually at the end. They had like a like little. It wasn't the Avengers, but they had like a few heroes to help out.
Yeah. I think Earth's Mightiest Heroes had my favorite Hawkeye incarnation.
No, yeah, he's amazing. That
He was
that,
awesome.
that he's sick, and
Yeah.
a lot of other characters are really cool in that too.
Yeah. Okay, final bit of news. It's speculated we might get an Eternals teaser when Black Widow releases.
Cool.
And from a fairly reliable source, apparently, these are what it could include. So, present day and distant past scenes. So we get scenes from way back about like the... What are they called? The big...
Big Bang.
No.
The start of time.
Yes. No, the big robot alien guys.
Oh, the Celestials.
Yeah, Celestials.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
things.
so we'll probably get scenes with them and also, the Eternals in the present day. We're probably going to get the heroes in both civilian clothes and the superhero costumes, which we saw at, what was it, Comic-Con or something?
Yeah.
We'll get our first look at Kit Harington's Black Knight,
Nice.
riding a horse.
That's cool.
So fairly comic accurate. And it will focus on Angelina Jolie's Athena and Richard Madden's Icarus, who are probably going to be the leads of the movie, I'd say.
I gotta say, even though I did say this before that I'm not really interested in the next few Marvel things, but Eternals is probably the one that I would probably lean myself towards going to watch.
I think because it is the most different out of all of these, it would
Yeah.
seem. It's the most kind of separated.
And you've got the Game of Thrones cast in there as well,
Yeah.
with the guy who played Rob Stark, and you've got Kit Harington in that as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, poor Kit Harington is probably going to get typecast now as
Yeah.
every medieval character. Poor guy, because he had that Pompeii film. Oh Jesus, well that's hard. And then he had something else recently.
He had some action movie, I think, but I never saw it.
He had an action movie. He had Pompeii, and then he also had that really hardcore one, which was about him and this relationship with a younger child, and they used to send messages, and he committed suicide or some crap.
Oh, okay.
It was
Let's
like-
hope he doesn't get typecast as that.
Yeah, I mean it was quite heavy stuff, and he's also doing plays.
Oh,
But
good for him.
he was in something
The Death and Life of John.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. But he was in something that he was in.
He was in How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, he was a voice actor for one of the characters. But I think he was in something. Is it there? You scroll. Yeah, he was in I think it might be Brimstone. It was oh no, that's it.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, he was in Gunpowder. They're all you can see that they're quite I want to say typecast, but he's definitely got a genre that he's in constantly.
Yeah. It's kind of a medieval.
Fantasy,
Yeah.
or sometimes fantasy. I guess.
Yeah.
He's got a quite I mean, he doesn't do a bad job.
Yeah, he does a good job. Let's just hope he branches out soon.
And I think this is a time for him to branch out. Would be Marvel,
Yeah.
but it's the Black.
But
Knight.
it is Black Knight, yeah.
Yeah, it's like oh, we're back in black again, you know.
Yeah. Would be interesting. I mean, I want to see a comic incarnation of this character, but after that, maybe we could get him in kind of you can take him out of his element and put him in the real world, and
He wears more modern.
wears more modern clothes, and he's kind of fish out of water in a way. But I guess that is a bit outplayed.
It'd be
by
really
this
cool to
point.
see a Black Knight, but it's all futuristic kind of
Yes,
modern
technology
looking,
and stuff,
technology
yeah.
stuff. That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
like a Moon Knight kind of thing.
Yes. I can't wait for the Moon Knight show to come.
Yeah, if that even happens. Imagine,
Um,
didn't they said it was going to be on Netflix, and then they cut Netflix stuff.
No,
Oh.
they're making a Disney Plus show, I think,
Oh really?
along with
Aren't they
She-Hulk
bringing-
and
aren't
Miss
they-
Marvel and whatnot.
Yeah, are they bringing back Daredevil for Disney Plus? I
I don't
swear
know.
to God, what's his name? Guy who plays Daredevil.
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox. I swear to God, he made a comment because he was hanging out with Tom Hiddleston for a bit.
He was.
They were
yeah.
hanging out for a bit. I don't know if imagine if he makes a cameo in that Loki show.
That'd be cool.
That'd be
He's
neat.
like his lawyer.
That'd be neat. I really, because Daredevil's one of the best Netflix Marvel shows. Jessica Jones is great as well. I want her to come into this, but he needs to pop in somewhere.
Yeah.
Disney Plus needs to be we have these people
Yeah.
Fall him over. Kingpin, and that was amazing. Kingpin's
Yeah.
got to be a villain for Spider-Man eventually. Like, come
Yeah.
on, like especially that Kingpin.
Yeah. He was like full on comic Kingpin
Yeah,
by
it's
the end.
amazing. I mean, his head's not in the middle of his chest like the
Yeah.
what was it?
Spider-Verse one, yeah. All right, well, that's all the news I have.
Mm.
Do you want to get into The Lighthouse?
Oh yes, please.
So, before I ask you whether or not it lived up to your expectations, what did you know about this film going into it?
I knew there was a mermaid.
Yeah.
I knew that Robert Pattinson was in it, and I knew that Willem Dafoe was in it. I knew that there was a somehow kind of authority structure between the two characters.
Yep.
Like one was higher than the other, and I knew there was something to do with. Oh, actually, I don't really know there's much to do with Lighthouse. I thought it was very much like two men kind of like thing, but there's more to it than that.
Right.
There's a lot more to it that I didn't realize. I thought it was just going to be, okay, these two characters, like one of them's a bit possessed or some crap.
Right.
But there was more to it.
I thought it was going to be... Like, that was basically my expectation minus the mermaid. I thought it was going to be more of a drama where it's, it's shot in this interesting style, but it's about kind of the idea of, like, masculine identity and, they're competitive against each other and whatnot. And,
yeah.
but then going into it, like, my dad said, "Oh, are you sure you want to watch this? It's a bit kind of, like, it's
Boring.
not boring. I saw it by myself, and he's
okay.
like, it's probably not the best one to see by yourself because it's supposed to be really like
Horror.
a thriller.
Yeah,
Yeah, horror.
It's actually not that scary.
No, it's not.
It's disturbing, but it's not scary.
That's the one thing I would use to describe this movie is disturbing. But I mean in the best way possible because that's what they were going for.
Yeah, they are.
So, do you think it lived up to your expectations?
Oh, probably maybe exceeded a bit beyond them.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like, that was just, because I've seen The Irishman that year I saw, like, what else had I seen? Oh, Marriage Story and all that. And then I go to this and I'm like, I saw it at the Luna as well in the new cinema complex. It was great. I was like, mate, this is the experience of a lifetime because it had, like, what's the width again? 4x3, I think. 4x3, yeah. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. I used to hate seagulls. Now I'm like, I don't want to touch them.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to damage a seagull after that. Spoiler alert, a lot of the things that transpire are due to seagulls.
Yeah, it's a kind of a message in this movie or like a symbol.
Yeah, and I think because it's actually based off a true story, kind of.
I looked it up. It's not exactly
Not
based,
exactly, but
it's kind of based on like written journals, I think it was.
It's based on a story of where this two people were at a lighthouse and one of them died.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know, like, tormented him a bit, and they both have, like, the same name and stuff. Like, it's similar to... They have the same names of the characters in this.
Yep.
And I think one of my friends was saying that there's, like, a creepy part of it where he had the hand... Like, he had to put the body somewhere, but, like, the hand would always fly in the wind, so it would freak him out at night when he would try to get... Yeah, it's a bit like that.
I'm surprised we didn't see that then, because that would have fit in perfectly with this film.
I don't think he really wanted to. I don't think the director wanted to
incorporate too much of it,
because it'd be too much like on the like. Oh, this is just a retelling story.
Yeah.
He wanted to make it its own thing in a way.
Yeah, that's true.
it's like taking like the story of Red Riding Hood, and then. Oh, actually, no, not really. It's like taking the story of. Sorry, I just thought because of like mythology and stuff. No, it's like taking the story of what's something that happened like a while back? It's like taking a story from like way back and then going, all right, I'm going to use it, but I'm going to play into it a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think I explained that too well. I think it's like okay, example. It's like taking Donald Trump becoming president, but making him like the biggest villain in the world thing. So it's like
nothing's really changed.
Nothing really changed, but like it's like taking an existing story and then just
amplifying a bit.
Yeah, amplifying it and doing your own thing with it, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah,
kind of making it more fictitious. Yeah. So you would describe this as like a psychological thriller, do you think? Because it's kind of there's like hints at some more supernatural elements, but you also think that's kind of
Well, the place is very isolated.
Yeah.
It's very its own, and the stuff that happens to him, it's like, is that really happening or not?
Yeah. I think it's all in his head. And I think because he's isolated, because he's with that maniac, because he's drunk most of the time or hungover the rest of the time, it's all kind of building up in his head. What do you think of the 4:3 ratio?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of films and shows in that. Like I remember I rewatched the BBC documentary series Walking with Dinosaurs, and I actually, because at a young age I didn't even notice, but I didn't realize that's actually 4:3.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. And then Neon Genesis Evangelion's on 4:3. Like you get used to it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing like. I generally think it's quite artistic.
Yeah, me too.
Very an artistic style, because a lot of like films now are widescreen, or they've got the like. I remember, well, let's see. Example: if you watch the first Narnia and then you watch like the second one, it's got that
Yeah.
got that black bands at the top.
I recently saw The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize until after you've seen The Lighthouse how long and kind of squished down the screen is. Like it's very like a it's much more like a rectangle than a square.
If you don't like it, definitely don't watch the second Narnia film. Like that is just.
No.
I remember when I was little going, what? I was like watching it through binoculars. Or like watching it through like a little like slit through.
Yeah, right.
That is just like, because they did it in Transformers Last Night as well, but it would like switch in and out.
Oh really?
Yeah, because Michael Bay's like, oh, it's a cool moment. You know, like, because a lot of like
God.
westerns did it. A lot of westerns
Yeah.
did it, like, but that was a bit different again because they used it to the advantage of like
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
I think this is good because it harkens back to that early.
and it's actually filmed on film as well. Like it's
Oh,
filmed
really?
on the actual old film, but
You
it's got
can
it's got like hardcore lenses though.
Yeah.
But the original like hardware that they're using is ancient stuff.
Yeah.
But they just added like, you know, because the lens is the thing. They just added updated lenses.
Well, they did a good job because it really it feels like a film made back in that era, but like with
It's got
today's
CGI,
actors.
it's got a bit of CGI, a bit of this here and there.
Yeah, I mean,
That seagull beating scene is like so violent, vicious.
that was intense, yeah. And it's because
Yeah.
it's like one big shot as well, and you think you're gonna cut to like a close up of his expression or something, but you just see the
See him
bird
just, like,
like
whacking.
falling to bits. And
It's just brutal.
I remember because I was like the halfway point, wasn't it? Something like that. I was sitting there like,
Yeah,
it's so fucked now.
yeah. I did like the seagull in the like little trough thing that it was stuck in, because that was animatronic.
Oh
I
yeah,
definitely reckon
yeah.
it was animatronic, and I was very like, nice, finally using some actual practical effects here.
Yeah.
That mermaid was very well done.
Yes.
I mean, I was a bit surprised it had such a large genitalia.
It was very graphic.
It was
wasn't
very
it?
graphic,
Yeah.
but I think that was the point. They were
Yeah.
trying to like go, okay, this guy's fantasizing about, you know, stuff like this.
I think the whole point of the movie is to kind of.
It's definitely directed more towards the male mental.
Yeah, I guess. But it's also it's meant to disturb the audience.
It's meant to disturb the audience, but I think it very much appeals to a more male
Perspective, I guess,
I
yeah.
guess. Because, and I think that's actually, I think a lot of feminists are going to get quite angry about that. I generally reckon.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't like a mainstream film.
No,
so
it's
I
not
don't
a
think-
mainstream
I don't
film,
think many
so
feminists
no.
will see it.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I definitely I'm like,
They're still focused on Star Wars or whatever.
yeah, I know. So I'm like, you know, this is good that we're going into a different, you know, a bit more of an original area, and yeah, as I said before, you know, I used to just watch the TV spots and the trailers and go, what, like, and still be out of it, like, still afterwards go, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Like, they did such a good job of hiding it. I love the Greek mythology stuff in it as well.
Yep.
I know he mentioned sirens and stuff, but that's definitely a mermaid. But especially the Prometheus concept,
Yes.
which our mate Josh again actually brought up. I did pick it up, but I didn't really want to say anything
Right.
because I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. People are going to work that out.
Yeah,
But
okay.
no one really was bringing it up until Josh bringing it up. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You actually worked that out as well.
Yeah.
So I love that concept as well.
Talk me through it because I don't think I really.
Yeah, no,
picked it up.
Prometheus. Okay, well, the idea is that Prometheus is a man. There's a lot of Greek mythology in this, and also the mention of Poseidon and stuff, especially with Willem Dafoe when he's that monster thing. It looks like Poseidon. Like he's got a crown on its head
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and tentacles and all sorts of things. And you know, he talks about the trident and stuff, and he has a lot of stances and stuff. I actually was hoping we'd get a trident, but
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually thought at the end he was gonna come out of the water as this massive like Poseidon and like
Right.
destroy the
Yeah.
place and kill him. I thought it was gonna go like that, but I'm glad they went into a more minuscule and much more grounded
Yeah.
sense instead of going big fantastical at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking was gonna happen in the end. But the story of Prometheus is he's the man that stole fire from Mount Olympus.
Yep.
So the idea is that Zeus created fire and gave it to humans, but was like, here you go, take it back. Here you go, take it back. Whereas
Right.
Prometheus was like, I'm gonna climb all the way up to this top of this mountain, take it, run all back down, and we keep it.
Yep.
So he does that, and then
Yeah.
he gets punished for it. And his punishment was he'd be sent down into Tartarus, which is pretty much okay. So there's hell, which is where Hades lives, but then there's like a little cage in
Right.
hell. And this is Greek mythology. There's a little cage called
It's
Tartarus.
like extra hell.
Yeah, it's like Tartarus, where all the titans and stuff live.
Right.
And he's sent into there. A lot of the guys are sent into Tartarus, and he goes into there and he's like eaten. A vulture comes down or an eagle comes down and always eats his liver every
Right.
day, and he repeats it over and over again.
Okay.
And that's kind of what they did at the end.
That
of
is
the final
mirrored.
shot.
Yeah.
The final shot, and it's very much like I'll get a Renaissance picture of this, but it's oh my god! Literally, when I saw it, I'm like, I've seen this image before. I know this story.
Yeah. That makes that last shot a lot more interesting then, because
It does.
I had no idea about that, kind of the meaning of that. I thought it was just another gruesome shot.
I thought like, is that the entire story? And he's just thinking about it in his head.
Right.
What happened in the film? Like I actually
Yeah.
thought, is he just constantly repeating this, and what's in his head is what's been going on? But no, when you think about it more, it's more of like a dreamy kind of sequence, and like because he falls down the stairs, and he definitely dies from
Yeah.
that fall. But then it's like he gets sent into this world where this is constant, and it's like the seagulls are having revenge on him. I'll try and get a Renaissance picture. Oh yeah, he was a Titan, I think. There you go. Like, look.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's literally like a red, like, there you go. Like, it's just literally a repeat.
Yeah.
He's getting eaten by the vulture.
Yep.
It's literally the lighthouse is that that story, but it plays into a few others. Like it's got Poseidon. It's a mermaid, but in Roman text it's a siren.
Right. Yep.
Because here we go. I'm gonna put my freaking glasses on. But the sirens in Greek mythology were bird women that were like they had like a bird body and then they had like a woman's head.
Yep.
And they'd fly around and give you shit. But
Which do.
as you do, yeah. It's just like they're all just sitting up there and they're all like, "You're a bit flat, Susan. Come on, raise up the tone. Come on, girls. 1, 2, 3." No, but.
Let's harmonize.
Yeah, let's harmonize. 3, 2, 1. D flat or whatever. But in Roman, because Romans loved the Greeks and they copied their stuff, they just rewrote the sirens into more like a mermaid creature. So he's like, that's the mermaid thing, yeah. But I didn't pick this up, but there's a lot of hints to Rob Pattinson's character's last job he had as a woodman.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't pick most of it up until like later on, because the scene where he actually walks out and sees the mermaid for the first time, when he actually like goes into the water and like drowns, and he sees that body.
Yep.
And there's all those like things moving to the side. I thought they were like waves or tentacles, but they actually are
They're like logs.
They're
yeah.
logs. They're
yeah.
wooden planks. And I was like, I only really recalled that like at the end, like when I finished it. I was like, because it brings up more later on, and there's a lot of hints to that guy, because I actually thought, when he lifts up that crate, it was William Dafoe's character, but it's actually that because I used to keep thinking, did he actually kill William Dafoe? Like, what's actually going on here? But no, it just keeps on harming back to his previous accident that he keeps saying of Timbro.
So did he kill that guy, or was it an accident?
I think it was an accident he killed him, but I think he was smoking as well at the same
Yeah,
So
right.
Robert Pattinson character was smoking, and he actually missed he did something and the log landed or killed or did something to that guy. I don't think it's like, you're not really supposed to know too much.
Yeah.
But since when you think about it, because after he kills William Dafoe, he takes a cigarette and smokes. It's like there's a lot of moments when you think about him when he's smoking. There's a lot of moments when something's going on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that homage is back to his previous job.
Yeah.
I do like that contrast where it's like mainland out in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's very much a contrast.
Yeah.
And that end shot when he opens up the lighthouse thing and he starts screaming and
Yeah.
that distortion sound and stuff. It's so like, I'm like, can we please get a camera flip and see what he's looking at?
Yeah, right.
But I think in the end, it's the light.
Yeah.
That's all he's looking at.
Yeah.
I think William Dafoe as well had a similar thing, but he was like possessed by it and stuff.
He's possessed by the light, but I also think because there's two ways of looking at it. One, you can say Robert Pattinson when he got up there, the light
rejected him.
Oh,
That could be an interesting idea.
it could be an interesting idea, yeah. But also, like, if it also possessed him, and like that's why he was so happy and like laughing like maniacally,
Well,
or
I thought it was screaming, yeah.
Screaming,
But if you
burning out your eardrums,
yeah, whatever, just loud dog whistle
Yeah.
sounds. I don't know.
Another way of looking at it is because he's kind of built up this like what it is in his head. Like he sees Willem Dafoe, he's not allowed up there. He's kind of, that's his goal, is to get to the top of the lighthouse. He gets there and it's just a light, and that kind of drives him off the edge. Like that's why he's screaming.
You thought it was something else up
Yeah,
there.
and like it's just a light.
It's just something that we made a while back that has helped us.
So there's multiple interpretations of like what was going on in his head at that time.
Yeah, and I think they were very they were quite ballsy, I have to say, with like, you know, because if you look into the script, right, when Robert Pattinson's looking at Willem Dafoe for the first time and you see that goop come down, in the script, I think it says an unknown substance, but I think they're very much going for ejaculation. It's ejaculation. He had some kind of like affection towards that light. Like it's a very like sexual attachment to that. I also found that scene, I'll say, spoiler, he's masturbating to the siren, the little doll of the mermaid, and you know he's thinking about all these bits and pieces. But when he screams, it sounds very much like the siren or the mermaid scream itself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is there another element as well with that too? Like, is that thing screaming at him? Like, is that mermaid real? Did he actually have sex? Like, there's a lot of things that are in this which you can dissect for hours.
Yeah, and interpret it in so many different ways. Interpret, not interpret.
Yeah, interpret it in many different ways. I think that the directors, the actors, everything, they've done such an amazing job at making you think at this film.
I think the sound design is also really good. Like you said, with the siren screams, but also, you know, you got that humming of the lighthouse.
Yeah, the foghorn.
Like the foghorn, and it just it drives, like you notice it before it starts driving him, saying you're like, oh, that's gonna. Like, that would drive you mad.
But I would say it technically folded into the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I reckon the foghorn was definitely an element of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a few musical tones in it, but the only real musical tone I found was that foghorn. I think that's very well done.
Yeah.
Very well.
And I think, because I work at McDonald's, and the amount of beeping going on there, it does drive you insane. Like, if you don't turn it off immediately, it's just... Yeah. So that foghorn, super loud all the time, even while you're sleeping, that would do it for me. And then you got combined with the fact that he's with this old man and they're both drinking,
and the old man's fighting all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You goddamn farts. I love the dialogue. The dialogue is amazing, especially the way they speak. But
I think the way they speak is meant to mimic those kind of
the sailor kind of thing.
The sailor tales.
It was quite there's a few moments. That's why when I walked out of it, I thought of so many different things, and I was like, actually, I might be wrong with that. Like, did he mention Poseidon? Did he mention sirens? Because I couldn't really pick that up, even though it's obviously he did. But I'm like, oh, because I feel like, as one of my other mates said, it would be really nice if there was like subtitles.
Yeah.
I think subtitles wouldn't have been a huge distraction. I've become very used to subtitles.
Me too.
Especially watching, like, you know, Neon Genesis Evangelion and having the subtitles. Like,
I use them a lot now, even for English things. Like, I use them while I'm watching The Witcher, just because it's like the words, I need to know what they are, if it makes sense. Like, they'll say them and I'll think they'll say something else and what have you, and I kind of need to follow the story as they're speaking.
Yeah, I still haven't seen The Witcher.
It's quite good. Yeah, I still haven't finished it. I've got one episode left.
I wasn't too interested in it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's saying to me, oh, you gotta watch it, man, you'd love it. I'm like...
I think it's very
it hasn't
overrated.
it hasn't grasped
Yeah.
me at all. I think I generally reckon it might be quite overrated.
I think it looks quite good, and the tone and color schemes used are quite good, and the acting's really good.
Oh yeah, I reckon Henry Cavill
Yeah.
had an amazing time with that.
And I just think the editing is kind of a bit off in places, and there's been like 2 good action scenes for me, and the rest are kind of like they're very jump cutty and whatnot.
I think there's also a limit to me when it comes to fantasy because I don't like Lord of the Rings. I generally do not like Lord of the Rings. I think the first Hobbit movie I can just sit through, but I like compared to Game of Thrones, like Game of Thrones is like, whoa, yeah, amazing. See, I just prefer if it's medieval fantasy. It's gotta have rules. It's gotta be a bit more less over the top. I mean,
this is very over the top fantasy.
I generally like if something's gonna be over top in fantasy, it's gotta be in D&D. I prefer it when it's like, oh, it's over the top in this, but when it's like on screen or something, I'm like, oh, this is way too over the top, way too far fetched and stuff. That's why Game of Thrones, I was really into that, and still kind of am, except for the last season was fucking awful. But I just love that world of The Song of Ice and Fire. The Song of Ice and Fire world is such a well constructed fantasy world because there's so much mystery in it. And it's just great, and I do want to read the books, but I'm
and it isn't even like that far fetched in the realm of fantasy genre. Like the craziest thing is dragons, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Okay, that's actually a good.
That's a good stopping point.
That's a good stopping point. Making dragons and all this fire magic that kind of like limit thing. I like that. I mean, the White Walkers are a bit mysterious, but it's zombies. I guess it's like, well, they are zombies in the show, whereas in the books they're actually like a different human being kind of thing.
Yeah, they're a different race in a way.
There's a race in a way. There's a whole look. The show really.
We can talk about this for hours.
But we're focused on the lighthouse, and I think the lighthouse does have a lot of fantasy elements in it, which are very grounded and realistic and great. And
but also, like, there's the argument made that, like, are they actually fantastical elements, or is it all in his head?
Yeah, is it all in his head? Yeah, that's the big one. I mean, everyone's going to think that. I did have a lot of. I feel like I homaged a lot of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yes.
I think it homaged a lot of that because of the axe scene especially. I'm like, oh, we're going into a bit of a shiny situation. And that's when I dropped a bit where I was we're going into this. But it was very different in the end.
Yeah.
But now looking
and
back at it...
That was very quick as well. Like, the axe scene was over in like a second. And like it's similar to The Shining and a lot of Stanley Kubrick's work where it makes you uncomfortable the whole way through. And I think it's a very disgusting looking movie. In a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Like it looks very gritty. You know, when you see the blood of the seagull, when you see the crap, when you see the unknown substance, it makes you like kind of shiver in your seat and not want to touch anything. It's very.
The only thing I found comfortable about the film was the clothing.
Yeah.
The only thing I really felt comfortable with, because that clothing, like the textures on the clothing and stuff, for some reason, like when it picked up on the camera, I'm like, shit, that'd be comfortable to wear. Even like the leathery or like fabric stuff, I'm like, shit, that'd be comfortable to wear.
Yeah.
But I think that also psychologically with the audience's mind would be like, they are comfortable, the way they're acting, the way they're wearing it, they feel comfortable in that. So I'm like, I maybe I'm going a bit too far. Maybe I took a few before I went in. Yeah. But I think it plays very well into all the senses: see, touch, taste, smell.
You can smell like a lot
of the sea smell. It's just it all.
I like that bit where he throws the crap off and like the wind blows it back in his face, and he's like,
it's like
starts yelling.
But there's a lot. It does, and the coldness of the waves and the water and the rain. It's like it's just amazing.
It does appeal to all your senses, doesn't it? It really does.
What did you think of the black and white? Did it distract you? Did you think it was necessary? I loved the black and white.
I liked it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about what it would be like in color.
Would it have the same effect?
Yeah, I think depending on the color scheme they used, it black and white would have been better. Like if they used very muted colors, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, because I definitely watched the behind the scenes for it after I watched the film, and they actually built that lighthouse. They built the whole thing.
Wow.
They built the whole set, the whole because they actually did it on next to another lighthouse, but the whole building was built by construction peoples. It's amazing when you watch it and all the costume and stuff. But when you look at it in color, because behind the scenes it's like all filmed in color, it's very bland and dull compared to it in black and white. There's something about the black and white, and the black and white's actually a special type of black and white where the reds are black.
Yes. Yep.
And I think they've just done it in such a way that makes it more vibrant, more colourful than when you actually watch it in colour. Because you're looking at colour going, oh shit, that green's a bit. Ooh.
Yeah.
They've done something.
I think the black reds really do kind of make it much more of a visceral world as well. When he's banging the seagull on the bricks and it's just black, like that's like dark. It's kind of a representation of his, his bad luck in a way.
And especially when what's that bloody saying? Oh, when he's got the blood on his face and he's looking at the lighthouse and the light's shining, and there's actually a part where they say the light was so bright from the lighthouse, the reds would start to lighten up as well. So if you look at his face, it actually, because it's really black at first, but then it actually slowly moves.
Right.
And it has this kind of effect where it's coming off him in a way, but almost moving as well, like a Rorschach.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is just visually stunning and amazing. It had a real Rorschach vibe when that was going on.
I think the black and white does it really helps with the lighting as well, like the moonlight and kind of the candlelight as well, because all the light sources are in the film. You very rarely see a light source that's from an external light. It's just either from the sun, the moon, or lamps and stuff. And the cinematography is amazing as well. I think it does a good job of making these characters.
The 4:3 aspect ratio.
It does a good job at kind of making it feel very confined and cramped.
And it makes the island feel so small. I like that shot where he's coming out of the pipe. And it's just framed so well with that aspect ratio. It's just so well framed for that. But
excellent. I think all aspects of this movie are excellent. I wouldn't watch it for another couple of years.
I reckon, give it time actually.
Because it's so disturbing, but that's what it's meant to be.
I think I could watch it again. I generally, when I walked out of it, was like, I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I want to flick through that because it makes you think so much. You're like, I want to see this again.
I think it'd be good to study. If I had the script and I'd go through it and just kind of dissect it,
destroy
and even if you get different stills from the movie and just kind of look at the cinematography and the mise en scene and what they use.
The mise en scène,
for what I think it'd be really interesting for them to study. But I don't know if I want to watch it for another while.
I think it's a good new film to study.
Oh yes, it's such an original film as well.
Yeah, it's so original, it's so new. Pays homage to so much stuff. It's definitely a good new film to dissect instead of dissecting something like Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
I reckon it's if you're going to dissect a film, you got to dissect The Lighthouse or Marriage Story or Irishman. Well, actually not Irishman because you'd be there for 3 years. But
but even Marriage Story and Irishman, they're fairly you look at those movies and you see stuff you've already seen in other movies.
Yeah, I definitely feel Lighthouse is going to be.
I feel Lighthouse
that should be on Netflix.
Yeah,
if it's going to be on somewhere.
It's the most original film I've seen in a long, long while. I think.
Definitely. I mean, compared to my niche and my what I watch, I did find Irishman. Oh, actually not Irishman because I do watch a lot of Martin Scorsese gangster films, but definitely Marriage Story was a new film for me, a very new genre, I would say, and personally with me, it felt something I wouldn't usually watch, but I loved it. And then the Lighthouse is so because I'm not a huge horror guy, but if it's got psychological elements and stuff like The Shining, I'd give it a watch.
Same with me. I generally hate horror and thriller movies.
Yeah, screw bloody zombie crap.
But I think it's a really interesting movie, and I think it did a really good job.
Oh yeah,
and
it's definitely it should have won some Academy Award.
It did get snubbed hardcore. Yeah.
It did, but I think I have a few opinions on that. A lot of people disagree with my opinions on why it got snubbed. I think because because it used it used a lot of old techniques that it was it didn't really wasn't
qualified.
Really qualified because it was so stripped back.
Yeah, but it kind of used old techniques
in a new way.
In a new way, yeah.
Which it
to
should
benefit this kind of original story.
like a lot of people were saying, oh, 1917, yeah, it's good that it won cinematography. But like, oh, if you watch The Lighthouse, like that's just so. There's something
Yeah.
about those shots.
Yeah.
It's so well done. I think because 1917 lived like it pretty much it's winning because it like the one shot
Yeah.
aspect. And if you took away that, it's like if you took away the whole one shot thing, it's like I'm watching Saving Private Ryan or I'm watching Fury again.
Yeah.
It's like just another generic war film, but because of
Yeah.
the one shot, it like really, I don't know, it's unique and different.
Yeah.
But it's been done before, Birdman,
Yeah.
and a lot of other movies. So it's like, is this really new? You know?
Mm.
I mean, look, good on them. I think it was amazing. I walked out of that having an
Oh yeah,
amazing.
I love 1917.
I walked out of that going, that was amazing. But
But I definitely think this film needs more recognition.
Lighthouse needs a
Yeah.
lot more praise and recognition for being something so new, unique,
Mm.
and just breaking boundaries in a way that, well, I wouldn't say break boundaries, but it would with a lot of our social norms these days, it definitely goes into some pretty like deep sections of the way society is at the moment. And that's the same thing with Joker as well.
Mm.
But I think Lighthouse does a better job than Joker, or
Yeah. No, I agree.
in certain aspects. I think Joker, a lot of people are praising Joker, and I talking to a few people, like, you know, Joker's definitely an amazing movie, but definitely Joker hits a few overrated marks. And I think Lighthouse is like, if you mention Lighthouse at like a big film thing, not many people would have watched it.
Yeah.
Only a few
yeah.
small people.
Do you want to rate it?
Rate it? I feel like giving it a 10, but what are we doing this out of 10? Did we do this?
Out of 5.
Out of 5,
We did
okay.
last ones.
I would love to give it a 5,
Yep.
but I think just be on the safe side, give it a 4.7 or a 4.8. Just to be on the safe side, because there are a few things in there which, especially, and I think it's because of the way they spoke, subtitles would have been good if it was like added in and made it a main thing. Like, there's just a few nitpicks, but they're so like underwhelmed by the amazing stuff of it. So I'd give it a 4.8, 4.7.
Yep.
Keep it that reading region. Don't get into the 5, because 5 is just way over.
Having said that, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, all right.
I think it blew me away with the way
Actually, I'll change
it
it
was
to 4.
made.
I'll give it a 4.9.
Okay.
4.9. This is to give it a 5. I'll give it a 4.9. Just so I'm like, okay, because now I'm thinking about it. After
So one of us keeps our credibility.
yeah. So someone gets
I just think it's an excellent film, and I think I can't recommend it enough. And I think it's a really good one to study. I think it's something completely new and original, and I like that. I don't think we're going to get that a lot this year, to be honest. We're getting this.
No,
we're getting Tenet.
We're getting Tenet.
Everything else is kind of based off something else.
We're either getting a reboot, a spin-off, or a sequel, or we're getting something like Tenet, which I feel like is the only... Oh, we recently got A Way Back, but that was a bit... That's Ben Affleck getting a bit, sorry.
Oh, yeah. But that's not
It's
entirely
not a sport,
original.
It's not entirely original. It's another
Yeah.
sport film, and I mean, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
But, Tenet's probably the only one I'm really actually thinking is going to be... Oh, no, that Greyhound one looks not that good. The Tom Hanks film with the submarines.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. There's a lot of films coming out this year which are like over my head, except for Tenet.
Yeah. So I think this and Tenet, I mean, we haven't seen Tenet, so we don't know, but I think this is probably the most original film we're going to get this year. So did you want to end it off on a recommendation from each of us? We thought we'd try this new thing where we kind of leave the episode recommending something we watched or did or played, so that you guys, after watching or listening to the episode, can go out and try those things.
Yeah, I'm gonna think.
You're going to think about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna think about it.
I have one ready. And I'm kind of surprised myself for recommending this, but because I thought most of my recommendations would be movies and TV shows and stuff, especially because for school I'm watching at least 2 movies a week.
Yeah, I'm
and
watching a movie
that's
a week
not
as
including the ones I want to actually go out and see.
Yeah.
But this is actually, I'm recommending music. So not that he needs to be recommended, but Ed Sheeran.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
recently
Ed Sheeran's good.
He is good.
He's good, yeah.
I've recently been listening to him because I haven't told you this, but the past a few weeks I've had a little bit of social anxiety. Nothing big, just kind of like,
Yeah.
do my friends like me? And
Well,
whatnot.
I had that. I mean, I've had that for a while before. Big chunk of I think towards the end of high school, I'd say I definitely had a bit of a chunk there. But
I think
I know what you're saying.
it's just been recently for me because
Especially going to a new school.
going to a new school,
people.
none of my friends are at the school really.
Same with me. So it's like
But I think Ed Sheeran really helped with that. Not because he kind of motivates me, but because his soothing tone of music and his voice and the way he plays his guitar and etc.
Oh, he's a good artist.
It really it relaxes your mind, and when your mind and body, like when you're relaxed, it gives you kind of more freedom to think positively. If you're all stressed out, if there's a billion things going on, if like you're having a really crazy day, the only thoughts you're going to have are really negative thoughts. Like you're going to look at something normal and think of it negatively. This is my theory. I'm not like a psychologist.
You're not a psychologist, no.
But I feel like if you have a much more relaxed mind, you're more free to look at the world in a positive light. And so recently, going back and forth from school, I've just been listening to Ed Sheeran songs. His voice is really soothing. It's really calming. And I think it's just a good way to kind of relieve some stress without... I normally relieve stress by running and exercising and kind of getting it out there. But this is a much more kind of simpler way, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to recommend The Lighthouse just because, we just talked about I'm like, it's a given, you got to watch it. But I recently saw a movie, Dog Day Afternoon, and that was a ripper. That
was the
Al Pacino one.
Yeah.
That's a bloody ripper. But, see, the thing is, I'm not too sure of what to really recommend, except for maybe that.
Yep.
I would say it's a good movie. It's an old one.
What's it about?
Well, it's based on a true story where there was a bank robbery that happened in New York in the 70s. Actually, I don't want to spoil too much.
Right.
But it's just really well done.
Yep.
Great directing. Al Pacino he's nuts in this. I think it might have been one of the characters. Oh no, it wasn't one of his last films. But no, it was. There's another guy in there as well. It's one of his because there's an actor. They only had like 4 films or 5 films he was in, and then he died. I can't remember who it was. But this is 70s and stuff, so it's a very good movie. Definitely give that a watch.
Okay.
Dog Day Afternoon, really good, very intense. The acting in it is just unbelievable. Yeah, because I don't really know what else to recommend except for probably that.
That's a good recommendation.
Because I'd watched it last week because through school, but it was very. I had a great time with that one.
Yeah,
awesome. I definitely think those kind of films. They're such a serious situation, but they can be funny at the same time as well.
Yeah,
so you
right.
have a bit of a laugh in it,
Yeah.
but then towards the end you're like, oh, this is intense. But I'd recommend that. It's a good.
There's a really specific skill that comes with creating that kind of tone. It's kind of a thin line that you have to create.
I think a lot of. I'm trying to work out. There's a few other directors that really harness that correctly. I'm trying to work out who they are. But I've seen a few films where they do that really well.
Yep.
But this one, definitely.
Yeah.
A good recommendation. Dog Day Afternoon.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for listening to this.
Yeah.
I think this was a good change of pace for an episode. Last 2 have been kind of packed.
Yeah.
This one we got to we had less stuff to talk about, so we got to talk more in depth about The Lighthouse and, we got to express our thoughts more freely, I thought. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I nothing else to say.
No, nothing else. I mean, there's probably no reason to do a hint for next week.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do for next
time we do it.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna see Quiet Place 2 soon.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the first one?
No.
Okay.
I know there's a new film. The guy that directed Get Out, which I really liked. He's doing a new film as well about black slavery and stuff. It looks interesting.
He's also, because it's Jordan Peele, he's producing I think it's an Amazon Prime show.
Okay.
Called Hunters, and it's about these people who hunt Nazis in the present day.
Oh yeah, no, I saw the teaser for that. Yeah, I've seen it.
So I might check that out.
Yeah, but the guy that directed Get Out is
he's brilliant, isn't he?
See, as again, I don't like thrillers, but Get Out was like, this is great.
Yeah, it's just like another layer on top of that.
But I think that's a bit more visual.
Yeah.
It's much more visual metaphors rather than what The Lighthouse, which is just like, oh god, like real piercing your mind. I reckon we could probably talk about games next time. Maybe play around a bit.
Yeah. Do you have any games you've been playing?
Not really. I'm
No.
just giving it as like a suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
I mean, depending on how much free time I have, I can try and play through that new Star Wars game.
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order.
I have it.
Yeah.
I've played like 5 minutes of it so far.
Yeah, there's actually a game I'm close to finishing.
Yeah.
I think I'm close to finishing. It's an indie game. Could talk about that next time.
Okay.
Maybe.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
All right. Again, thank you for watching
Thank you for
or listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.